The riverside village of Umuozara was known for its fertile farms, noisy marketplaces, and peaceful evenings beside the flowing water. Farmers carried baskets of cassava and yam every morning, while fishermen sang old songs near the riverbanks. Though the villagers lived simple lives, they valued kindness above wealth. Among them lived Adanna, the daughter of a respected shop owner. Her beauty was admired by many, but her sharp tongue caused fear wherever she went. She laughed at poor farmers with torn clothes and ignored market women who greeted her warmly. Adana believed wealth and appearance made a person important, and she treated anyone beneath her with cold pride. Adana spent most of her days inside her father's large shop near the centre of the market square. Wealthy travellers often stopped there to buy rice, spices and palm oil before continuing their journeys. Whenever rich visitors arrived, Adanna smiled sweetly and spoke softly to them. But when poor villagers entered the shop, her attitude changed completely. She mocked their accents, complained about the dust on their feet, and sometimes refused to greet them at all. Though her father warned her many times to respect everyone equally, Adana only laughed and said poor people deserved no attention. One evening, Adana's father sat outside their compound while the sun disappeared behind the river. He told his daughter that pride often destroys people faster than poverty ever could. He reminded her that riches could vanish overnight, but good character remained forever. Adana rolled her eyes and dismissed his advice. She insisted that beautiful and wealthy people would always rise above others. Her father sighed deeply because he feared life itself would soon teach her the lesson she refused to learn. The village market became crowded every 5th day when traders from neighbouring communities arrived with goods. Women balanced baskets on their heads while children ran between stalls laughing loudly. The smell of roasted corn filled the air. Adana walked proudly through the market wearing expensive wrappers and shining beads around her neck. She ignored greetings from older women and mocked a farmer whose sandals were worn out. Some villagers whispered that Adana's pride would one day lead her into trouble. Late one afternoon, a dusty traveller entered her father's shop. His clothes were simple, and his sandals were covered with road dirt from a long journey. Though he looked poor, his eyes were calm and intelligent. The traveller politely asked for food and water, but Adana stared at him with disgust. She mocked his appearance and asked if he could even afford the items he wanted to buy. The man remained quiet despite her harsh words. Her father apologized to the stranger, but Adana continued laughing until the traveller left the shop peacefully. After the traveller left, Adana boasted proudly about how she had embarrassed him. Some customers looked uncomfortable, while her father shook his head sadly. He wondered why his daughter enjoyed humiliating people. Meanwhile, the traveller sat quietly beside the river before continuing his journey. Unknown to Adanna, he was Chief Obiora, a respected cocoa merchant travelling through villages in disguise to understand how ordinary people lived. He never forgot the cruelty he witnessed in Umuozara. Weeks passed, and Adana continued living carelessly. She spent money on jewellery, expensive fabrics, and celebrations with friends who admired her beauty. She rarely helped in the shop unless wealthy customers appeared. Her father became worried because business slowly started declining. Some villagers preferred buying from kinder traders who treated them with respect. Still, Adana blamed everyone else and refused to believe her behaviour could affect the family's reputation. Whispers about Adana spread through Umuozara. Market women complained that she insulted them openly, while farmers avoided her father's shop whenever possible. Though her father remained respected, people quietly distanced themselves from his daughter. An elderly woman warned Adana one day that beauty fades faster than morning dew. Instead of listening, Adana mocked the woman's wrinkled face and walked away laughing. The villagers grew more disappointed with her each passing day. One morning, Adana's father announced that he planned to invest most of his savings in a business deal involving imported goods. A travelling trader promised enormous profits if he joined the partnership quickly. Though some elders advised caution, Adana encouraged her father to proceed because she dreamed of becoming even richer. She imagined expanding their shop and living like royalty. Her father trusted the wrong people, unaware that danger was approaching. Months later, terrible news reached Umuozara. The business partnership had failed completely after dishonest traders disappeared with the money. Adana's father lost nearly everything he owned. Their large shop closed, debts increased, and many possessions were sold to survive. Adana could not believe the sudden change in their lives. The same villagers she once mocked now watched silently as her family struggled with shame and poverty. For the first time in her life, Adana experienced true hardship. Food became scarce in their home, and the expensive clothes she loved were sold to repay debts. She avoided walking through the market because she feared people would laugh at her. But survival left her with little choice. Her father became weak from stress, and Adana realized she would have to work if they wanted to eat. The proud daughter of Umuozara was about to enter the same marketplace she once despised. Adana borrowed a small tray from a neighbour and began selling vegetables near the edge of the market. Many villagers recognized her immediately. Some pitied her, while others remembered the insults she once gave them. The work was exhausting under the hot sun. Customers ignored her stall, and she struggled to attract buyers. By evening, her feet hurt badly, and she returned home with little profit. That night, she cried quietly for the first time in many years. The market women, whom Adana once ignored, watched her silently during her first week of work. Some expected her to remain rude despite her situation. Others believed hardship might finally soften her heart. One elderly seller offered Adana water during a hot afternoon. Embarrassed by the kindness, Adana could barely speak. She remembered how cruelly she had treated the same woman months earlier. Shame slowly began growing inside her. As days turned into weeks, Adana discovered how difficult market life truly was. She woke before sunrise to gather vegetables and spent long hours calling customers. Sometimes rain destroyed her goods before she could sell them. She also witnessed the struggles of poor farmers she once mocked. Many worked tirelessly only to earn enough money for a simple meal. Adana began understanding that poverty was not laziness, but often the result of hardship and sacrifice. One busy afternoon, a familiar voice greeted Adana at her stall. She looked up in shock and saw the dusty traveller she had insulted months earlier standing calmly before her. Fear rushed through her heart immediately. She expected him to mock her the same way she once mocked him. Instead, the traveller smiled gently and bought vegetables from her stall without mentioning the past. After paying for the vegetables, the traveller thanked Adana politely and asked how her father was doing. His kindness confused her deeply because she knew she deserved anger instead. Adana apologized quietly for the way she had treated him before. The traveller simply nodded and said everyone makes mistakes. His calmness touched her heart more painfully than harsh revenge ever could. A few villagers later recognized the traveller and revealed his true identity. He was Chief Obiora, one of the wealthiest cocoa merchants in the region. His businesses stretched across many towns and villages. Adana felt even more ashamed after learning the truth. The man she had insulted was not poor at all. Yet unlike her, he never used wealth to make others feel worthless. Chief Obiora continued visiting Adana's stall occasionally. Each time he spoke respectfully and encouraged her to remain hard-working despite her struggles. He never mentioned her former pride. Slowly, Adana began changing. She greeted customers warmly and treated poor villagers with respect. Though some people remained cautious around her, others noticed the sincerity growing in her behavior. One afternoon, Adana helped an old farmer carry heavy baskets through the market. The villagers stared in surprise because such kindness once seemed impossible from her. The farmer thanked her warmly, and Adana felt a strange peace inside her chest. At home, Adana's father noticed the changes in his daughter. Though poverty still troubled them, he saw humility slowly replacing her pride. He confessed that he blamed himself partly for spoiling her too much while she was growing up. Adana held his hand and promised she would never again judge people by wealth or appearance. Heavy rain struck Umuozara during planting season. Several farms near the river became flooded, destroying crops that families depended on for survival. Adana joined other villagers to help affected farmers salvage what remained. She worked in muddy water for hours beside people she once mocked. Though exhausted, she felt proud of the honest work. The villagers slowly began speaking differently about Adana. Instead of calling her arrogant, they described her as hard-working and respectful. Some market women even invited her to sit with them during quiet afternoons. Though grateful for their acceptance, Adana knew rebuilding trust would take time. She remained careful with her words and focused on treating everyone kindly. One evening, Chief Obiora shared part of his life story with Adana. He explained that he too had once been poor and travelled barefoot through villages selling cocoa beans. He told her that many people insulted him during those difficult years, but he never allowed bitterness to fill his heart. Instead, he worked hard and treated others with dignity, regardless of their status. Adana listened carefully as Chief Obiora explained that money alone could never define greatness. He believed true wealth came from honesty, kindness, and the ability to help others. His words stayed in her mind long after he left the market. She realized that although she once possessed money, she had been poor in character. One afternoon, a hungry child wandered near Adana's stall searching for leftover vegetables. Months earlier, she would have chased him away angrily. Instead, Adana prepared a small meal for him and allowed him to rest beside her stall. The child smiled gratefully, and nearby traders watched the scene with quiet approval. Not everyone believed Adana's transformation was genuine. A few villagers claimed she only acted kindly because she had become poor. When Adana overheard such gossip, she felt hurt but remained silent. Chief Obiora advised her that true change requires patience and consistency. Over time, actions speak louder than rumours. As the annual river festival approached, the village became lively with music rehearsals and colourful decorations. Traders prepared food while drummers practiced throughout the evenings. Adanna volunteered to help organise supplies for the celebration. Many villagers appreciated her willingness to serve without demanding attention or praise. During festival preparations, the village chief invited Adana to assist with welcoming visitors from neighbouring communities. The invitation surprised her greatly because leaders once avoided involving her in community matters. She accepted humbly and worked diligently beside other volunteers. The experience reminded her how respect is earned through service rather than beauty. On the night before the festival, Adana sat quietly beside the river, reflecting on her former life. She remembered how proudly she once walked through the market, mocking struggling people. The memories filled her with regret, but also gratitude, because hardship had changed her heart. Without losing everything, she might never have learned compassion. The festival day arrived with dancing, singing, and colourful performances beside the riverbank. Visitors filled Umuozara with excitement and laughter. Adana welcomed guests warmly and treated everyone with equal respect. Many older villagers smiled proudly while watching her. The arrogant girl they once feared had become someone entirely different. A farmer collapsed near the marketplace one hot afternoon after working for many hours without rest. People rushed toward him in panic. Adana immediately brought water and helped carry him into the shade. She stayed beside him until his family arrived. The farmer later thanked her deeply for saving his life. With time, Adanna's vegetable business slowly improved. Customers trusted her honesty and often returned to buy from her stall. Though she still lived modestly, she felt proud earning money through honest labour. The simple success meant more to her now than the wealth she once inherited carelessly. The village teacher invited traders to encourage children about honesty and hard work. To everyone's surprise, Adana agreed to speak. She told the children that pride blinds people from seeing the value of others. Her honest confession moved many listeners because they knew how much she had changed. As months passed, Adanna's father slowly regained strength and hope. Though they never recovered their former riches, peace returned to their home. He often watched his daughter in amazement. The hardship that once seemed like destruction had actually rebuilt her character. Chief Obiora advised Adanna to continue growing in humility even when life became comfortable again. He warned her never to forget the lessons poverty taught her. Adana promised she would remember. She understood now that character must be protected carefully because pride can quietly return if ignored. A widow in the village struggled to sell enough firewood to feed her children. Many traders ignored her because business was slow. Adana began helping the widow attract customers and sometimes shared part of her own earnings. The widow blessed her warmly, saying kindness multiplies faster than money. The same market women Adana once avoided gradually became her closest friends. They laughed together during quiet afternoons and supported one another during difficult days. Adana realized genuine friendship could never grow from pride or superiority. Real relationships required humility, respect, and understanding. Chief Obiora invited Adanna and her father to visit one of his cocoa farms in a neighboring town. The journey exposed her to hard-working laborers who depended on cooperation to survive. She listened carefully as workers shared stories about perseverance and sacrifice. Their humility inspired her deeply. While visiting the cocoa farm, Adana joined workers carrying baskets beneath the hot sun. The labor exhausted her quickly. Chief Obiora explained that honest work deserves dignity, regardless of the job's difficulty. Adana finally understood why mocking hard-working people had been so cruel. When Adanna returned to Umuozara, she viewed the village differently. She no longer saw poor farmers as unimportant people. Instead, she recognized them as the foundation of the community. Their labor fed families, sustained markets, and kept village life moving. A shy teenage girl named Ifeoma approached Adanna seeking advice about market trading. She admired Adanna's discipline and honesty. Adanna patiently taught her how to arrange goods, greet customers politely, and manage profits carefully. Teaching others brought her great joy. A few people who remembered Adanna's cruel past still treated her coldly. One woman openly reminded others about the insults she once gave them. Though hurt, Adanna apologized sincerely instead of defending herself. Her humility slowly softened even those who struggled to forgive her. During the dry season, food prices rose sharply across Umuozara. Many families struggled to afford basic supplies. Adanna reduced prices at her stall for poor customers whenever possible. Though her profits became smaller, she felt fulfilled helping others survive difficult times. The village elders eventually noticed Adanna's consistent kindness and responsibility. Unlike before, she no longer sought praise or attention. One elder remarked that true change reveals itself not through words, but through repeated actions. Many villagers agreed completely. One peaceful evening beside the river, Adanna thanked Chief Obiora for showing her kindness despite her earlier cruelty. The merchant smiled gently and explained that forgiveness frees both the offender and the offended. His wisdom continued shaping her life deeply. Through years of careful saving, Adanna and her father managed to reopen a small version of their old shop. Though much smaller than before, it represented hope. This time, Adanna treated every customer equally. Rich visitors received the same respect as poor farmers entering with dusty feet. Chief Obiora explained why he often travelled in disguise through villages. He believed people reveal their true character when they think someone is powerless. Adana remembered the day she insulted him and shivered with shame. Yet she also felt grateful because that painful mistake changed her life forever. Children who played around the market began gathering near Adanna's stall because she often shared stories and fruit with them. The once proud woman who ignored ordinary people had become one of the kindest faces in the marketplace. Her transformation inspired many throughout Umuozara. A wealthy trader offered Adanna an opportunity to join a business partnership that promised enormous profits quickly. Remembering her father's painful experience, Adanna chose caution instead of greed. She decided steady, honest work mattered more than risky wealth. Heavy rains finally ended the harsh, dry season. farmers celebrated hopefully as green crops returned to the fields. Adana joined the celebration joyfully because she now understood how deeply the village depended on successful harvests. Their happiness became her happiness too. With improved harvests, business in Umuozara slowly flourished again. Adanna's shop attracted many loyal customers because people trusted her fairness. Though prosperity returned gradually, Adana remained humble. She never forgot the days she struggled beneath the hot market sun. During a community gathering, the village chief praised citizens who demonstrated kindness and responsibility. To Adanna's surprise, he mentioned her name among them. The applause embarrassed her because she remembered how badly she once behaved. Still, she appreciated the chance to rebuild her reputation honestly. Young girls in the village increasingly looked up to Adana. Many admired her strength and transformation. She warned them never to measure people by clothing, wealth, or appearance. She explained that character determines true beauty. Sometimes Adana still remembered the laughter she directed at poor villagers years earlier. The memories humbled her greatly. Instead of hiding from her mistakes, she used them as reminders to remain compassionate. Painful memories became guides toward better behavior. One evening, Chief Obiora told Adana that hardship often reveals the hidden parts of a person's heart. Some become bitter, while others become wiser. Adana admitted she once believed money guaranteed happiness and respect. Now she understood respect must be earned through kindness and integrity. Inspired by her experiences, Adana began encouraging traders to support struggling widows and orphaned children within the village. Her efforts created stronger unity among market workers. People who once competed selfishly started helping one another more often. The following harvest season became one of the most successful Umuozara had seen in years. Drums echoed through the village as families celebrated abundance. Adana distributed free food to several poor families during the festivities. The joy on their faces reminded her how meaningful generosity could be. Years earlier, Adana measured success by expensive clothing and wealthy visitors. Now she measured success by the number of people she could encourage and help. Her transformation became a popular story throughout nearby villages. Parents even used her example to teach children about humility. Chief Obiora eventually prepared to continue traveling across distant regions for business. Before leaving, he visited Adanna one final time. He told her he was proud of the woman she had become. Adana thanked him sincerely because his kindness had changed the direction of her entire life. Years later, people no longer remembered Adana only for her beauty. They remembered her kindness, humility, and willingness to serve others despite her painful past. Beside the peaceful riverside village of Umuozara, Adana finally understood the lesson life had taught her through suffering and grace. Wealth can disappear, beauty can fade, and pride can destroy a person quickly. But good character, compassion, and humility remain treasures that no hardship can ever take away. If this story touched your heart, kindly leave a comment below and tell us what lesson stood out to you the most. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it today. Remember, kindness and humility can change a life forever. Thank you for watching. Add